Yeah.
All right.
We are admitting everybody. Everyone's starting to pile in. Yay! Hello.
Hi, Lisa. Hi.
Hello.
Hey, Bridget. Hello, Bridget.
Hi.
You know what, Bridget? I have one of my husband's friends. She spells her name just like you. I've never seen Bridget spelled that way before. I love it.
Oh, really? Is she from this country or from?
No, where is she from?
I'm originally from Belgium. It's more like the French way to spell it.
And she does have something. She definitely speaks French. I'm going to text her because this is going to drive me crazy.
She's probably from a French-speaking country, right?
Yeah.
There's so many different ways to spell it.
Mm-hmm. So where do you live now?
West of Boston.
Very nice.
It's snowing right now. We already have probably a foot, and it's going to keep snowing all night. Tomorrow I'm going to have good exercise, shoveling, ab work.
Really good attitude. Really good attitude. JR, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Are you guys getting a lot of snow too?
Yeah, we had I think we had like 10 inches over the weekend.
Oh wow.
That's a lot.
Where are you?
A lot of snow.
Chicago.
Where?
I'm in Chicago.
Oh, okay. Oh wow, yeah. You have a reputation for snow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was but you know, the roads they clear the roads so quickly here that it didn't impact my morning commute at all. So that was nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Anne, where are you from?
I live down in South Texas.
Oh, okay. Where in South Texas?
Right now I'm in Harlingen.
I don't even know where that's at.
I actually do. I used to call in a retina doctor down there.
South Padre. It's close to South Padre Island.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But in a few months I'll be in New Braunfels.
Nice.
I know that area too. Wow.
Thanks. Oh, lots of familiar faces. We see Kristen. Hey. How are you doing? We have the other Jackie. Monique. Oh my gosh, Monique, did you make it to Florida?
I did. I'm unpacking right now.
Oh, good for her. She just moved from Austin to Florida, Destin, Florida. So they made a road trip.
And Nikki, did you make it home or are you still driving?
I'm still driving. Journey is doing my controls for me. We're almost there though. I'll put my video on when I get home.
Perfect. Be careful.
Okay.
So someone else, I saw someone else, Kristen, aren't you Virginia? Someone else is in Virginia. My sister-in-law, Nicole Cole, is in Virginia.
Yep, in Virginia as well.
Did you get a lot of snow too?
About 5 inches.
Oh. Well, we are getting a cold spell in Miami. I think it starts tonight. We actually might be in the high 40s tomorrow morning.
Oh, woo!
Sounds like spring.
Right? All right. Well, Marcia, do you want to start the call? And then I'll just be letting people in as more and more ladies start trickling in. Ladies, we are recording this, so if for any reason you can't make it on a Monday night, we will record and then we'll send it out as an announcement in the LIIT program, so you can watch the call at your convenience too. But we really do encourage you to join in for these calls because it's super exciting and we get to see each other and talk to each other, and that's the fun part. That's the one thing that lives we can't do.
Yeah, so if you're just joining us with Plant Chicks, we always start off with a dance party. It's always one of our little things that we do just to get to know and have fun. Obviously, we wish we could be together, but since we are online, just if you're sitting down, you can move, shake your head and your hands. So we always start with our Plant Chicks anthem, which is the Broccoli song by the Rocket Surgeons, their favorite one. So you guys, let's get up and dance or dance in your pants. Here we go. It's crunchy, green, and yummy, and it's
Girl, better give me that brock.
That's the broccoli song. If you guys have ever seen that video on YouTube, it's so funny. We'll post it back into the tribe. It is so funny, but they're talking about broccoli and eating healthy. It's like a fun little rap song, but we just love that song. Okay, so let's get this party started by doing a toast. I have my faux rosé. Jackie has her turmeric latte. If you have your water, whatever you have, you know, you can just toast. I want to do a little toast just to let everybody know that we love you guys. Thank you for joining us on this LIIT journey. We are toasting you to the next 4 weeks of plant-based health. So cheers, plant chicks.
Cheers.
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 Yay.
All right, so to start this party, we are going to, let me grab up my notes because we have some things we want to talk about of what to expect. So we have been getting a lot of questions. So we're going to start this call up by answering a bunch of questions, and then we'll have you guys ask questions at the end of the call. So let's talk about workouts. So the first week, you guys get 2 20-minute workouts, and for each day, you'll get 2 workouts a day. It doesn't mean you have to do both workouts back to back. We just gave you like choices. So if you're brand new and you're like, I don't know anything about this, or maybe you're, say like before, Kristen was new to yoga. She said she got introduced to that. So that's a good segue to be introduced to an exercise or a workout you've never done before. You're more than welcome to do back-to-back exercises. So like for day 1, like print off your calendar, of course. I printed mine off. It's a great visual. And day 1, you'll see full body. That's a full body exercise workout. It includes a little bit of like cardio and weight training and using your body. And then the second workout is yoga. They're about 20 minutes-ish a piece. So like I said, you could do both back to back, you could split it up, or you can just pick which one that speaks to you. I always say intuitive working out, pick the exercise. Like if you feel like doing a little weight training, of course you're gonna do full body. If you feel like being more flexibility in yoga, you can do that one. So for the rest of the week, you guys could pick each one that you wanna do, or just do back to back, or split it up. We're all about moving. You guys just move your body. And then Sunday, we have active living. We have a video for that Sunday to watch it. We're always going to give you tips on ways that you can live active and incorporate more movement into your daily life besides working out, right? The best thing you can do is just move your body. So that's it on those workouts. Jackie, you want to take it away?
Yeah, I want to backtrack just a little bit. So some of our beta babes are on this call, and if you guys want to chime in later and share any of your experience, that would be fantastic. But at the beginning of every single week, so the very first one, welcome to week 1, we do a short video and we just tell you what to expect. We talk about the downloads. We have a video like that at the beginning of every single week. So make sure you listen to that and make sure that you get all those downloads. You will get new plant plates, ebooks at your recipe book. And this week and next week, we're going to explain a little bit more about what plant plates are, like where do you get your carbohydrates, protein, fat, how to break those down. Marcia is going to talk a little bit about the diagrams of the plant plates and the plant blenders. And then the last 2 weeks are just recipes. We don't like talk about all this stuff. But we also talk a lot about meal prepping and intuitive eating. But before we get into that, Marcia, why don't you talk a little bit about the visual of the plant plate and the plant blenders?
Yes. So when you go into your, I hope you guys downloaded the app. This is the app of Kajabi. Some of you guys, I know the technical part, you guys were kind of confused, but once you get that down, the downloads will be at the very, very bottom of it. And so you'll download it from there. You'll open up plant plates. And we gave you like this is our standard plant plates, because we actually have 5 or 6 plant plates that we use. Like if we do one-on-one and custom ones, we cater it to the person, of course, like if we have a fitness competitor or somebody who's like on a different part of a program, we have these different plant plates. Sorry, sometimes that's a tongue twister for me. So, okay. So, but this is the best one that works. Like if you're transitioning off of meat, the one that you have in this guide. So when you pull it up and you see it, you have a little section for protein. I know everyone's fixed on protein, but believe me, no one's protein deficient in the US. If anything, we're fiber deficient. We eat too much processed foods and all that kind of stuff. I can go on a tangent, but we're focusing on plant proteins. So plant proteins are attached to fiber. And so just know that the plant proteins that you're getting is going to be your beans, greens, grains have, protein in it. A lot of people are like, oh, really? I didn't know greens had proteins. But essentially all, I would say, plant foods have some type of amino acids in there. You just have to mix them. So there's no like rhyme or reason, but as long as you get all the essential amino acids, you're fine. So that little section right there is protein. You're going to be eating, even on a plant-based diet, you're going to be eating ample protein. You'll see another little section where you see that has fats. Here's the thing. A lot of people overeat fat, and they just do, whether it's healthy or unhealthy. And you really want to keep that, I would say, at bay. The reason being is your body only can process, when you eat one meal, it only can process as much as it needs for repair, if that's protein, or if it needs for fat, like you'd like for your hair, skin, and nails. So I would say the different like protein, the macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fats, they do different things for your body. So when you eat your meal, it's only going to process what it needs. After that, it's going to dump as waste or store as fat. That means if you eat too many calories, whether it's protein or not, a lot of people are like, oh, I need an 8-ounce chicken breast, and I think it's all going to go straight to their muscle. No, it's going to use that for repair, and the rest is going to dump as fat or store as waste. You can overeat protein. It's still a macronutrient. So know that when you're sitting there eating your fat, really fat goes a long way. It's expensive in calories. It's 9 calories per gram, whereas, I would say protein and carbs are 4 calories per gram. So you just want to be careful on that. I know that if you're drinking some alcohol along the way, it's 7 calories per gram. And I always, while you're going through a fitness program, trying to be healthier, we encourage you to not or drink less alcohol, because I know that can be a crutch for some people and it's a stress reliever, but we want to teach you healthier ways to distress. That's why I have my faux rosé. This is real rosé, but there's no alcohol. They de-alcoholized it, and there's no hangovers. It has, like, if you're worried about, I would say that you should not be worried about the sugar calories, but that's what their shtick is about. But at the end of the day, it tastes like a rosé. You don't miss out, and you feel like, but you can still be healthy. And it's kind of a cool little thing. So I always look for, if I'm craving something like that, like a non-alcoholic drink or a little mocktail while you're trying to be healthy. Your liver is your filter. Like, people think they need to be on a detox. You don't ever need to be on a detox. Your liver is your detox. It's a natural built-in filter. So if you're drinking lots of alcohol takes number 1 in your liver before anything else. It has to break that down. Same thing with pills and chemicals and stuff like that. If you're eating a lot of processed food, it has a ton of chemicals. You all be careful on that. It's all about minimizing. We're not saying to cut it out, be 100%. Jackie and I are big advocates about being 80 to 90%. Just cut the crap, calorie-rich and processed foods. And that's why we have these plant plates to show you. So you have your proteins, you have your fats. And so be careful on the fats. And I would say when you're eating fats per meal, because people always want to know, I have to know the exact calories amount and gram. You guys, I would say a few, like half an avocado is great, maybe in your salad, right? Maybe if it's a large avocado, make sure it's a quarter. If it's a small one, you can do a half. Just be careful. Like, I know people, like some of our clients, on a salad, they will put 80 to 90 fat grams, and they're like, is this healthy? And I'm like, oh, it's healthy food, healthy ingredients, but they're putting chia seeds and flax seeds and, I don't know, hemp seeds. And next thing you know, they really have, I'm not even kidding, like 120 healthy fat grams of nuts and seeds in their salads and avocado. Be careful on those. Your base needs to be, it has to be greens, maybe some carbohydrate. That's why we have the little plant plates. It makes it easy for you. You could sprinkle in, like, look at your serving. If there says 3 tablespoons of hemp seed is 1 serving, that's put 3 tablespoons of hemp seed on your thing. I would say on your salads, pick 1 healthy fat, maybe 2 tops, but be careful. You can overeat fat. You can eat unlimited greens and fruits and that kind of stuff. Grains is another thing. I want you to just be careful if you're a newbie or doing too much. People can overeat grains as well, especially if your body's not used to it yet. Stick to a cup. Don't go more than over a cup per meal is what I'm saying. Because we know people that are just pile it on. And again, it's too many calories, right? And so just a 1 cup of grains, maybe you're doing like a salad, half a small avocado, the rest load up on veggie, greens, bell peppers, onions, tomatoes, chickpeas, whatever you want to load up on. But we have the plates, we have the explanation on there. If you really look at that little chart, we show you the chart, the breakup, and if you'll see like where it says grains, that little part, just a cup, I would say a cup is about average per meal. Okay, you can have 3 cups a day if you want to. Just I change my grains up. And I always do gluten-free grains myself. I do quinoa, maybe it's for breakfast, or oats for breakfast. Lunch could be quinoa with a salad, because sometimes salads aren't sustainable by themselves. Amp it up with some quinoa, it's a gluten-free grain. And maybe for dinner, I might be having rice with some potatoes and having some kind of, I don't know, like some dal dish, you know what I mean? Something Indian or something like that. I mean, I on a regular, I do at least 2 servings of grains a day, but 2 to 3, and not saying always 3, but my advice to you is don't overeat grains, don't overeat fats. What you can overeat is lots of beans. Unless you're getting started, then you might have an upset stomach. Your gut microbiome has to get used to all this fiber that's being put into your body. At the end of the day, all these plant-based foods have fiber, and fiber might give you gas if you're not used to it. So just, smaller amounts of that would be, I would say try to get used to it if you can. And then at the end of the plate, you'll see half of it. It says, eat the rainbow. That's where you're going to get your greens, your bell peppers, your onions, that kind of stuff. If you're not much into grains, because we do have people who ask about, I can't do grains, or, like behind the scenes, you have this question, that's fine. Replace the grains on the chart with a root vegetable like potatoes, like a sweet potato or a white potato. And, people freak out about white potatoes. White potatoes are just as nutritious as sweet potatoes. They're just 2 different types of potatoes, okay? And believe it or not, like a white potato has all the essential amino acids for protein. So I don't know if you guys have heard about, there was this guy who did a potato diet for 1 year. He literally, have you heard that? Yeah, Kristen's like, he's saying, yeah. He ate potatoes for 1 year, lost an X amount of weight. I can't remember, it was a lot of weight. But it had all the essential nutrients and stuff like that. Potatoes are great. Jack and I eat potatoes all the time. It doesn't make you fat. We're trying to retrain your brain from carbs make you fat, sugar makes you fat. It's eating the right carbohydrates, the amount, and the right sugars, the right everything. Because you guys can eat fruit and not get fat. You can eat sugar, quote unquote, as long as it's attached to fiber, not get fat. And, it's the right kind of sugar, I always say. And you can eat the right type of carbohydrates and still not get fat. It's about, being, I would say, eat the rainbow. It's about looking at those foods. Look at the breakdown of the charts. That's why we share a lot of our meals in the tribe. You guys share it too. You guys will ask questions behind the scenes. Keep asking, ask, is this okay? I wouldn't worry about the amounts. We don't want you to get into the whole calorie counting, but we want you to be aware. Here's it's like a fine line, right? When you look at that, you're like, well, she's telling me to have avocado, but I'm not supposed to be counting calories. It's about the visualization of it, okay? So it's just about being aware, because yes, you can overeat healthy food, right? Especially if you're trying to live a healthier lifestyle and you're on a track, say you want to lose weight and that's your goal. We're all going to have different goals. One is like, say, losing weight. Then yeah, you want to be a little more mindful. Maybe someone's trying to build muscle. We want to eat a little bit more food. Maybe somebody is just trying to be healthy, just like for longevity. We all have different things that we're doing here. I would say goals, and basically just trying to eat to the plates as close as you can. And that base plate that's in the book, that is going to be your lifesaver. Even take a plate and look at it and do it. Jackie and I have made meals where we put it on the plate, and we have a meal that we can make for it could be a salad, it could be a smoothie, and it can be a meal, which is actually pretty crazy if you just kind of do the base plates. And it can go into the plant blenders actually. And even the plant blenders, we put a little breakdown. If you're just doing a protein powder and a water, you guys, that's not going to sustain you. Even if it's a plant protein powder, you want to have a sustainable smoothie. If you're going to start your day for breakfast, you can have a smoothie any time of day. It can be breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I make it when I'm in a hurry and I can't, don't have time for lunch, or at dinner I'm like, I just don't have time for it. So smoothie can be done anytime, anywhere. And just know that you look at the little breakdown of the plant blender, you guys will see you can use the plant protein or not. Jackie and I aren't really into huge processed protein powders. There's one that we believe in because it doesn't have stevia, it doesn't have any kind of fake sugars, and it actually is 5 ingredients, and it's sourced out, and it's super clean. That's a compliment we believe in. And you need 3 tablespoons, and it has that, but we don't use that all the time. So just know that we're not putting that in our smoothie every single day. You can put beans in your smoothie. You don't even have to have beans. I use chickpeas because it's very neutral, but make sure your smoothie has fruits, vegetables. You can have grains in there, which I would say oatmeal's the best. That blends the best in there. Not cooked, but dry. So we've had somebody ask, is it cooked? No, dry. And and healthy fat. So you'll see, you'll have your protein, carbs, and fat in your smoothie. It will be sustainable. So that, I'll tell you that. And if someone can't have grains, because we do have people that have grains, put a sweet potato in the place of the oatmeal, and that will help as well. So I hope that helps, gives you a little bit of tips on the plates and the blenders, and experiment with different foods. Don't fear it. Really try to embrace it and really try to eat quality food. And we're not telling you to eat like birds either. Like, oh my gosh, I eat this tiny plate. The average plate, American plate, is like anywhere from 9 to 11 inches. So let's say 10 inches is the average plate. So we want you to have a nice full plate on the thing, and that's fine. And even in smoothies, I don't have a little tiny smoothie like that. My smoothies are big, like in a big mason jar. They're actually substantial. So just make sure obviously you're eating enough calories too, because sometimes another side effect is people eating not enough calories on a plant-based diet, and they're like, I'm always hungry. And it's like, well, yeah, you're not eating enough calories. So be mindful. If you have any questions, like I said, you put it in the group, because most likely everyone's going to have that same question, or just reach out to Jackie and I privately if it's more of a private question. So
awesome. And in our Plant Plates ebook, we talk about intuitive eating. We also go into intuitive eating in great detail in the Mindset Workbook. So I highly encourage you guys to either download the Mindset Workbook on your computer, and you can actually type into the workbook, like where it asks questions. And this is where you get to start digging deep and seeing what works for you. But with intuitive eating, literally, I am not lying, there is a study to back every single way of eating 1 meal a day, eating 2 meals a day, not snacking throughout the day, eating 5 or 6 small meals, grazing throughout the day. Literally, there's something to back every single way of eating. So what is it? How should you eat? This is a question that we want you to ask yourself. And we want you to, right now, like, how are you currently eating? Are you currently eating how many meals a day? How many snacks are you eating? And then is there a way that you would like to be eating? Maybe you don't want to snack. Maybe you want to try intermittent fasting. Maybe you want to try circadian rhythm eating. That's eating like when the sun comes up, and then you stop eating by the time the sun goes down. There's so many different ways to eat, but this intuitive eating is starting to like calm down. You're slowing down. You're going to be present for your meals. You're really going to pay attention. And one of the things that we have to do is, a lot of times when we eat, we end up just like scarfing down our meals and eating so fast. A smoothie is a great example. Like, I can make my smoothies and I can literally drink that huge bottle, like literally probably 60 something ounces. I can drink that in like 10 minutes. That's a lot of food. That's a lot of calories, because it's not just fruits and vegetables. I put in either a potato or oatmeal. Like, I have all kinds of good things in there, right? So we're talking like 500 or 600 calories. But ladies, it takes our brain about 20 minutes to realize that our stomach is full. So if we can slow down and become more mindful with our meals, that is going to be really, really helpful. And one of the things that we can do is we can chew our meals. We can chew each bite literally 20 to 30 times. I've had bites of food, and not smoothies, like I'm talking a salad that's crunchy and you're supposed to chew a lot, and I can chew it like 3 to 5 times and swallow. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to really slow down and be mindful and watch. More than likely, you won't eat as much as the quantity that you're eating if you're eating super fast. So just by slowing down your meals, that's going to be a natural way to learn to listen to your body. So intuitive eating, in the ebook, there's like several different pages that we talk about intuitive eating. And in the workbook, there's specific questions that we want you to ask yourself. And I'm going to get to the workbook in just a minute and go into a little bit more detail about that. But one thing that we heard from our beta testers is meal prepping. Like, we give you guys so much information in the LIIT program. The workouts are the easy part because you just push play. Like, you know, this is day 1, day 2, whatever, you can push play. And by the way, if there's something like, if you can't do a workout on one day, like you want to do active living on Wednesday instead of Sunday, switch days. It's totally fine. It's no big deal. It's totally, totally cool. But with meal prep, the nutrition or like figuring out how to do meal prep. How many of you guys have meal prep before? Can you guys raise your hands if you meal prep before? Good. So we got some good people, like a lot of people who know how to meal prep. Awesome. I love that you came off video or on video. Yay. But for some of you who meal prepping is brand new to, you're like, how, this is way too much to take in. A couple guidelines. How many people will you be cooking for in your home? Is it just you? Are you cooking for multiple people? So depending on how many people you're going to cook for, we want you to go through the recipes and choose some recipes that stick out to you. Which ones look good? Now, if you're cooking for other people in the house, then you might need them to go through some of these recipes too. And then you guys can figure out together, oh yeah, this one looks good. And if there's some recipes you're like, not really sure if that one's like calling my name or not, hold off, just because there's plenty of other recipes that you can go to. But write down which recipes look good to you. And then when you figure out which ones you're going to make out of all of those, because more than likely you're not going to make all 20 that are listed, or right, that you've written down. So you'll pick out 2 or 3. And then I want you guys to go into your kitchen and see what ingredients you need. What spices do you need? What herbs do you need? What do you not have? And then when you go to the grocery store, you'll have everything written out. And one other thing, when you go to the grocery store, don't go hungry. And also don't go when you're stressed, because that's when you can, like, all these other foods start calling your name. And ladies, if you can say no at the grocery store and not bring those Oreos home or not bring those chips home, you only say no the one time at the grocery store instead of having to say no every time you walk past that counter. So just be mindful and try not to go grocery shopping when you're hungry or stressed or whatever, and that will help keep everything in line. And also go with your list, stay with your list. And then when you get home, you can prep everything. You can wash all your veggies and everything, and you can chop some up and maybe do, like, prepare one meal for yourself. And then you can also, this is where you can batch cook. So maybe there's some sauces that you want to make, or there's a soup that you want to make. And batch cooking is when you just make a larger quantity, and then you can eat on it throughout the week, or even freeze some of the food, put it in the freezer, and then you can pull it out at a later time. It's kind of almost like your own, like TV, what are those called? Remember the TV trays or TV, what are those called? The frozen dinners. I can't think. All right, so that is meal prepping. And going into your mindset workbooks. Have you guys been able to download your workbooks yet? Yay. We worked with a fun girl, and she was able to come up with some really cute infographics on here. But with our mindset workbook, we get a new one every week. I'm trying to pull up my workbook in the app. One of the things that we ask you guys to do, and this is important that you do it, is write down some of your favorite go-to meals right now. We're going to come back to that in a couple weeks. So write down some of your go-to meals, and then we'll circle back to that. So make sure you're not skipping over that. And then it goes through the intuitive eating, and you get to dig deep. This is you guys, this is the part, the nutrition and the exercise. This is almost the easy stuff to do, but it's the mindset. It's our mind that starts to lead us astray, right? You're like, I've done so good. I ate perfectly yesterday. I did all my workouts yesterday. So I might sleep in and push snooze. That's your mind telling you. It's trying to talk you into going back to your old patterns of behavior. And I'm going to use Jackie as an example. And she was working, this is over the holidays, she was working in her husband's practice, and there was just all kinds of crazy, it was a very stressful day. And normally she would come home, maybe have a cocktail and eat crap, calorie-rich and processed food. But literally what she did is she came home and she ate some nourishing and healing foods, and she didn't go to old behaviors. And this is one thing, you guys, we are going to be creating new habits over the next 4 weeks, and it's so exciting. We had women who did the beta program and they worked out on Christmas. They'd never done that before. You guys are going to have so many firsts over the next 4 weeks. You're going to learn a new version of you, and it's going to be super, super exciting. You're creating new habits. You're doing this for you. And if you have any family members that might be doing this with you, you are teaching family members. You're giving them the gift of health. My sister-in-law is doing this. She's got her kids that they're going to be seeing her doing this. She's going to be making meals. They're going to be eating some different foods that they might not have eaten before. And this is like one of the best gifts that you can give your kids, your loved ones. So it's really, really amazing that you guys are valuing yourself first and foremost. And then you can also learn to share this with others. So that is your workbook. Oh, another big one. Your Plant Chicks partner. You guys have heard of workout partners before, right? Yeah, we've heard of workout partners. We want you guys to post in the tribe, find your Plant Chicks partners. Marcia and I, we're going to be working out with you guys as well. But find your Plant Chicks partner so you guys can hold each other accountable. When are you guys pushing play? Who likes to work out in the morning? Who's a morning workout here on the call? Me too. I like morning. How about noon, like lunchtime workout? Any lunch workouters? All right. Got a couple lunch. And then evening after work. Yeah. All right. So start post in the tribe. Let people know. Post a picture of yourself. Let us know where you're from. Let us know when you like to work out. Share something fun about yourself. Something like totally off the wall. Favorite movie, favorite actor, favorite something. Like share something fun about yourself. And then find a Plant Chicks partner. So we really want you guys to hold yourself accountable and know that you're going to be doing 30 different workouts over the next 4 weeks. You guys can redo LIIT again and again and again. We've got some of our beta testers who are on round 3 right now, which is super exciting. So with that, Marcia, it's your turn if you want to go into the before pictures.
Yeah, you guys, so take before and after pictures while you go through the process. It's always fun to see where you're at in your journey. And I'm not saying like take them every single week. I think every 30 days is kind of sufficient because it does take a while, especially anybody over 40, to lose weight or, get into shape, whatever your goals are. So take your pictures. When you take your pictures, I would say, obviously the less clothes, the better. I'm not saying you have to be in a bikini, but sports bra, shorts, or something that's form fitting so you can see how much you've changed. Because it's always when people have lose 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds, they're like, whoa, and they love the transformation. You may not like it while you're going through the process. That's the hard part, maybe to look at yourself. But in this process, remember, your mindset is key. You're learning to love yourself as you go through the process. It's very hard. And trust me, anybody that is in super fit shape, I can tell you this right now, they're still having a hard time loving themselves. It is an everyday process. It's like one of those things you have to always have to, get your mind right every single day, whether it's through prayer and meditation and focus. So just know that, you're not the only one out there like, oh, I don't want to do this, or it doesn't mean you have to post it if you don't want to, but please take those before pictures. I think they're crucial and part of your journey. And sometimes when you're older, like say if you're 40 and maybe you're 60 and you're looking back, you're like, man, I thought I was old when I was 40, but I was actually looking good. We always do that. We look back. Do you remember when you guys were like young and you thought you were fat and you were like 18, where I'm like, it was so funny when Jackie and I, talk about our old days. We're like, what were we thinking? We were young and supple and, we had healthy fat on our body. It was a whole different ball game. So our whole key thing in mindset is enjoy the journey where you're at. You're the youngest you're going to be today, right now in this moment. This is the youngest you're going to be. So enjoy this moment where you're at. Have fun with it. Jackie and I are all about having fun. Don't make the pressure of putting before pictures or having them or just taking them for yourself a pressure. That's where you guys need to flip the script in your head, right? Just like the scale, a lot of people focus on the scale. You guys, the scale is really about data. It's once you lock yourself into, I need to be a certain amount of pounds, and it's a mental thing, then you've chained yourself into the ball and chain of the diet, right? But if you just look, if you are doing the scale to see how you weigh or you lose or whatever the deal is, just think of it as data, okay? So don't think of it as like, I have to be a certain amount of weight. Please don't do that. You're just gonna kill yourself doing that. I always say the best thing to do on the visual person, like those plant plates, are before and after pictures. That's the best visual you will get. The weight on the scale never tells you how healthy you are, right? We sometimes forget that. We think we need to be 145 pounds or whatever it needs to be, and we fix on that number. And if we're not there, we're unhappy. So we've tied our happiness to a number versus even if we were super fit, maybe we're 155 and fit. So try to like look at your pictures. At the end of the day, this is the God honest truth with all the studies. You have to have more muscle mass than body fat, okay? So in the big grand scheme of things, it's your body composition that matters. You want more lean muscle mass than body fat. I will say that again, right? So if you're over 30 to 40 pounds overweight, you're creating this chronic inflammation, okay? It's okay to be 10, 15 pounds overweight. That kind of fat is okay. So if you're not super tight with a six pack and you're 10 pounds overweight, a lot of people freak out. That's just normal, everyday healthy fat, you guys. So just don't freak out about that. It's just about getting in shape. It's about doing the weights in the gym. These pictures, these before pictures are your visual. And now you can see how you're getting into shape, how you're losing the fat. But I don't want you to focus on losing quote unquote fat. I want you to focus on building muscle. Okay, that is where you're going to make the gains of life. And I'm not saying bodybuilder because that's not where we're at here. We're doing functional fitness, but you need to focus on building muscle. I was telling Jackie, you know, I showed her this lady who did her fellowship in osteopath, talking about bones and muscles and all that. And she said the death of senior citizens over 60 and 70 is the loss of muscle. And that just like slapped me in the face, because a lot of people, they don't think they have to lift weights. I don't care who you are. If you have bones, you have to lift weights. You have to lift them. Everyone needs to lift any type of, I mean, not saying heavy or anything like that. It has to be weight bearing. It has to put stress on your bones, whether it's resistant bands, dumbbells, machines at the gym, you're going for a hike, you're going up, you know, a hill. I don't know, you put ankle weights on, you're walking the street. You need to put some type of weight bearing exercise, a weight vest on as you're walking, something. You need something to put some stress on your bones. Or if not, you're going to have osteopenia. And she did say once you start getting older and you get spongy bones and you start losing that bone density because of that, you don't have any muscle mass, you're going to break hips, you're going to get sick. And that's the kind of, besides obviously, you know, the nutrition part and people being unhealthy, that contributes to it, but it's also the bone density. You want to focus on building muscle. That's what your focus should be on. And I'm not, again, I will say the bodybuilder thing is that's immediately as a woman, people think, oh my gosh, she wants me to build muscle and get like a man. No, here's the thing. We have 10%, women have 10% of testosterone that men do. Okay, they have way more than we do. Like an average woman has 140 testosterone, whereas men, their average is like 800. They could be way up if they're younger, right? We have 1/10 of their testosterone. That's not what you have to worry about. You need to worry about just being fit, being healthy, make sure that's why we incorporated strength training, right? That's for your bones and your muscles. We incorporated cardio for your heart, not to lose fat. Most people associate cardio with losing fat. They start doing all this cardio. And that, I mean, that's great for your heart, but don't focus on cardio for fat. And then flexibility, you need to have great range of motion. Do you know the older that you get? I took a 65 plus class learning about strength training and flexibility and with geriatrics. And they did say over 65, you start losing thirst receptors. You're not as thirsty. Drink up anyways. Whether you feel thirsty or not, start drinking up, especially over 65. And then the loss of, I would say, not being as hydrated, not doing flexibility, which is super important the older that you get. Your muscles start drying out. They're kind of like, and they said it's kind of comparable, which it's not, but they kind of joked around like beef jerky. And that's why old people shuffle, like their muscles are just really dehydrated, always been chronic dehydration. They were saying dehydration is an issue. And a lot of people think, oh, I'm not that thirsty or whatever. I know we eat some of our water through our food, but we want to make sure we are eating hydrating foods like fruits and vegetables. We are drinking enough water, good quality water on a regular basis, like when you wake up, in between meals, stay hydrated, and just make sure you're feeling your best, because also it'll help you think better, it'll help you move better. But anyway, so going back to what I was saying, those pictures are your visual. And I'm just only stressing that because there's so many factors that go into that picture, and it's a mindset. Please take the picture, see where you're at. So let's use Wendy as an example. Some of you guys have seen it. Wendy, we met her during our first challenge, the fiber fuel with Dr. B. We paired up and collaborated. There you go, right there. And this was last June. And so Wendy started on her journey of reading Dr. B's book. We did a little 4-week challenge on the book. And here Wendy is 6 months later. So this is a 6-month journey. She's now entering her 7th month. And as you can see, it's not overnight. It's not 30 days. So this next 30 days with us, you're not going to get those results. It's just consistency. You know what? Consistency is so underrated. People want everything fast. The sooner you get to the mindset of things are going to be slow, it's not going to be easy, the better you're going to be. Okay, slow and sustainable, that's our key word, is the way to go. It's always slow, it's always sustainable. Remember the tortoise and the hare? The tortoise way is the way to go, and for your health, because it's not a deadline, it's for the rest of your life. You have to be healthy rest of your life. So whether you're in it with us for 30 days, you jump to another group for 30 days, find your motivation, find people that inspire you, find people that you connect with, whether it's us, we're part of your journey, something else. Don't give up on yourselves, okay? I'm telling you, these before and after pictures are so crucial because it lets you know where you're at in life. And you're like, oh, like even say like Wendy was like, whoa, look at me, like, and telling the difference. And just, you know,
if Wendy wouldn't have taken her before picture 7 months ago, she wouldn't have this. So we really do encourage you guys to get your before pictures. If you don't want to take it tonight, do it first thing in the morning, tomorrow morning. And it's going to be really, really cool watching your transformation over the next months and next couple months. And honestly, we recommend that you guys give it your all for the next 4 weeks and then recruit your girlfriends. Do this, bring your girlfriends in, do another round with your girlfriends. And we'll talk more about this in 4 weeks. But this is a lifestyle, you guys. And we're so excited to be on this journey with you. Sorry, Mercy, I cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good. I know. I like you had a thought. You got to say the thought. You forget. Now, anyway, so you guys get it. Please take your picture and also smile in your pictures. Don't be depressed before. Like, you guys learn to love yourself as you work on yourself. Don't be like you're on a mug shot. This is the worst moment of your life taking your picture. This is like, hey, it's my new life, man. This is my new journey. It's like smile in your before pictures, you know, just put on whatever you want to put on. And I would say try to keep it consistent. Like Wendy had that black bikini, try to keep whatever you're wearing consistent, just as your little trend, I would say your transformation outfit, to kind of see where you're at. It's always kind of fun to see people if they've had, like, say their jeans or their pants and they're huge, right? And I've had clients back, they lose 50 pounds and they have those same pants and they try to get into them. Those are always fun. Like, keep something from the days if you've lost a bunch of weight or something like that. Or we've had clients who go from super skinny and they've always been skinny and they wanted a more fit, built body, and then they became ripped, right? And so just the before and after pictures, the transition of them building muscle, that's just as hard as losing fat. It takes time. It takes time to build muscles. It's not 30 days to get those things. You know, it's not eating a ton of protein that gets you muscles. It's consistency. So you guys know that consistency is going to be your superpower. It's an underrated word. Nobody likes it. It's not sexy, but I promise you, everyone always wants to know what Jackie and I's secret is, and it's consistency. Okay.
No, and that's it. And we want to open it up to you guys and see what questions you guys have. And we want this to be like an open dialogue. We want you guys getting involved in the tribe as much as possible, because the more you put into this, the more you're going to get out of it. But we'd like to open it up and see if you guys have any questions or you just want to share something about yourself.
So can I say something?
Go for it.
Yeah.
So I tried the vanilla shake this morning and it was delicious. And I was surprised. It was like so much banana in it, 2 frozen bananas. Like I would kind of stay away from bananas because I think they're too many calories. But it was really good, and I wasn't hungry until like way late in the day. It kept me full. So that was great. Thank you.
I love that you tried that. Yes, and a lot of women fear fruit, like eating a banana is going to make them fat because of the sugar and calories, but really your body was utilizing it. And if you really added up the calories on that vanilla smoothie, it's not a lot of calories, believe it or not. You just added extra with the banana. So, but I'm glad it was sustainable for you and that you tried it.
And you did intuitive eating. You listened to your body. It held you over. That's incredible. And remember, ladies, too, fruit, a lot of people say this, fruit has too much sugar in it, so they try and stay away from it. The sugar that's in fruit, it's natural, 1. But number 2, it's attached to fiber. So when it's attached to fiber, it doesn't act the same as a processed sugar does, or other sugars that's not attached to fiber. So fruit is actually really healthy for you. You can't really overeat fruit. I've not ever had anyone who calls me and they say, oh my God, I just ate 5 apples. Am I going to be okay?
Yeah, if anything, you're like, oh crap, I just ate 5 cookies, right? Like that's easy to do. It's not easy to eat 5 pieces of fruit, really like 5 servings. Like, do we ever overeat fruit? I don't know anybody that does. It's like, we will overeat cookies and candy and all kinds of junk and have enormous like servings of cake. But for some reason, we're scared of fruit. I mean, we have to reframe our mind. Just like Jackie was talking about, fruit has fiber. You guys shouldn't fear that. So eat up, please.
That's right. Jackie, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Kristen. I have really enjoyed watching you be so persistent and work so hard. And I can see your transformation happening. I'm getting almost as much pleasure out of watching you as anything else.
Oh, thank you. I really get a lot of inspiration from the tribe on the Facebook group. And it's just amazing you guys in person. I just feel connected, and I've been in other groups before, but there's something about this group of ladies that it's just, they're so supportive. And, you know, every time you post, don't be afraid to post. That would be my one thing, is post something to keep yourself accountable, even in the beginning, if you have to do it every day, whether it's your plate of food or your sweaty selfie or your tomato face after you just got up off the floor from doing your swimmers or whatever. Just post it and make yourself vulnerable, because it's going to help you in the end.
Where in Virginia are you, Kristen?
Southwest Virginia, near Christiansburg and Blacksburg.
Okay. Okay. Yep.
Nikki's in Spotsylvania.
Oh, I know where Spotsy is.
Yeah. Exactly. That's where I am. So still far. I mean, that's a distance away from. We're a distance away from each other, but you know, same state. That's cool. You look like you're in a cabin. So.
I am. We live out in the mountains. So.
Awesome.
So Kristen, you made me cry when everything you were saying. So everything she just said, do those things, seriously. And you guys, you cannot post too much in the tribe. Literally check in. And if you're like scared to do it, do it. Who cares? We're all women in the tribe. No one cares. We are here to like lift each other up and encourage each other on this journey. So I love everything you said. Literally made me cry.
Yes, and we can't wait to see your transformation pictures as you go along, Kristen. I can't wait to see where you're at in 6 months. So,
yeah.
Does it matter? You know, my schedule waxes and wanes, whether if, you know, one day I do the workouts in the morning and another day I do the workouts in the evening. Because sometimes it's like I get started earlier. So on some days, because of client meetings, than other days, and then I just have to like make myself do it before I go to bed. Does that matter?
That is a really good question, and I'm so glad you asked that. And so many people ask, is it better to work out in the morning, in the night, whatever? What's the best time? the best time is when you'll do it. So that's perfectly fine, Nick, literally. So if you want to do it in the morning one day and that you can't do it again until the evening, the next day, whatever works with your schedule is the right time. So excellent question. And I'm so glad you asked that because I wanted to talk about that. Perfect.
Awesome.
Anybody else? Do you have any questions or comments?
I had a question about Wendy and her before and after pictures. Did she do Dr. B's 28-day?
Yep.
It has a lot of carbs in it.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
Jackie.
but Jackie, people's bodies, and this is one of the reasons we have so many different plant plates. Some people's bodies can eat higher carbs. Some people's bodies can eat higher fat. So this is why you guys all need to listen to your body and really pay attention. So when you're eating with those plant plates, after you eat, and I know some of you have done like the genetic test to see, or like those swabs to see like what foods you can eat, what foods you're not supposed to be eating. And if you notice that you get really bloated or you're really gassy after eating certain foods, you might want to cut back on the quantity of those foods or cut back from those foods altogether and then like wait a week to reintroduce them or wait a couple weeks to reintroduce them. So this is where it is going to be really important for you to customize your plant plate to best suit your body. So Jackie, if you can't eat as many carbs as what Wendy did,
Oh, they taste so good.
Okay, so
feeling gassy or bloated, or if you feel inflamed, then it's probably best for you to change up your plate just a little bit.
yeah,
Not
so
really
Lisa
bloated,
said,
it feels like I'm cheating.
would you say it feels like you're cheating?
Yes, it's not. It feels like I'm cheating after a chicken breast and veggies for the last 10 years.
No, don't be afraid. Don't fear the carbs. The carbs that you need to worry about are the carbs that are like refined, that are processed. Those are the carbs. We're talking the bad pizza. We're talking the cookies, the cakes, the Girl Scout cookies that you're seeing everywhere now. Yeah, those are the bad carbs. Those are not healing, gut healing. They're not going to be healthy. I mean, are they fun foods? Yes. Can you have them every once in a while? Yes. We're not saying you cannot not have them, but Jackie, we want you to like reframe your mind. Like if it's quinoa, that's not a bad carb. If it's, brown rice or white rice, even white rice or potatoes, those, I know you're like focusing on the carbs, but trust me, even if you add just a little bit, it doesn't have to be a huge amount. Remember I was saying, don't eat like 3 cups of rice, but just a cup, like, and within the proportion of it, you know what I mean? So you want things that are attached to fiber, So a lot of people like, I don't know if I could do rice. It's like, start with quinoa. Quinoa is a great grain to start with. It's high in protein. Everyone's always worried about that. So there's segues into going into this. Sometimes if you go from a low carb diet, it's going to be a hard transition to go into high carb. I was that person. You guys remember I was a fitness competitor. You guys, we had low carb dieting down to the stage. I feared bananas. I was scared of fruit. I was fearing everything in sight. So I totally get it. I can relate to that. And another thing too, when I was a fitness competitor going through my own journey, and then I would train clients to the stage, we noticed everybody needs protein for sure, but you're either a carb burner or a fat burner. And we noticed there's only 2 types of, women out there. When you're dieting down for stage, you have to have protein. So one woman would need more carbohydrates, less fat. The other one, opposite. She would need more fat, less carbohydrate to the stage. So that was the 2 ratios. And I knew this. I was a carb burner. I can have a higher carb amount and lower fat to the stage. It was still lower carb back in those days. Until I went plant-based, I had to restructure it, right? And reframe the whole thing. And I learned you could still diet down to the stage on complete carbs, like having 300 carbs a day. We used to do all macros back in the day, so I know all this by heart. Back when I was doing low carb, it was 20 carbs a day when we're dieting down, right? As a plant-based athlete, my vegan athlete, I was doing 350 carbs. I didn't go over that, right? But my fat ratio was 25 to 35 fat grams. That's what I did for the stage. And I would eat about 80 grams of carbohydrates. 80 grams of protein, sorry, 80 grams of protein, 350 grams of carbs, 25, 35 grams of fat going to the stage. Whereas my other girls that are fat burners, they had less. They had maybe 100 carbs. That was good for them. Grams of carbs. They would have like 50 to 80 fat grams, sometimes 125 fat grams, dieting down for the stage. So we saw those two girls, and that's when I knew. Some people take a test to find out if you're a carb burner or fat burner. We would know immediately when dieting down. So one girl we had named Heather, we were trying it. We put her on these. That's why we give you the base plate, that base plate. We train them through a base plate, see where they're at. When you diet down for stage is a whole process, but it takes 7 or 8 months. Jackie knows, she did it for almost 11. But you get to the last 90 days where you can shred up. You don't do it in 30 days, it takes about 90. And we took out one carbohydrate, and it was oatmeal. And guess what, guys? She had a 6-pack a week later. And we knew oatmeal caused inflammation in her body. And I was like, do you know regularly you cannot eat oatmeal all the time? It was that one carb, because we don't take everything away, like all the carbs. We want to know what carbohydrate is going to work the best or not work. So we just said, hey, take out your oatmeal. And she's like, all right, she did. Boom, 6-pack appeared. And we knew. So she kept every factor the same at the stage. She only took out one carb, and it was oatmeal, which is crazy. These people are eating clean. They don't eat processed foods. That was kind of an easier factor to tell, because you're aware. You're very intuitive with your body. But to this day, she thanks me. Like when she eats oatmeal, she's bloated, puffy, and gassy. And when she takes it away, when she wants to have a lean stomach, if she's wearing a dress, she immediately can tell. And she thanks me to this day. It's kind of funny. She's like, I cannot believe I love oatmeal, and this does that to me. Sometimes a food that you personally love and you don't feel quote unquote allergic to it will give you a weird digestive, bloating, inflammatory gastro type of thing. And you won't know this until you are more intuitive with your body, more intuitive with eating. Some of you will be writing food journals, that it's okay. Some of you won't be writing food journals. Oh my God, I think I'm frozen.
I think you
I
are
have another
frozen.
question.
Uh-huh.
Your 2 nights a weekend that say eat whatever you want. What does that mean?
So this is where you can have your soul foods, because you know how Marcia and I say we're like 80 to 90% whole foods, 20% or 10 to 20% soul foods. So the soul food can be like, is this when you want to have a little bit of pizza, but it's having like maybe a slice. You're back, Marcia. Perfect. Like having 1 or 2 slices of pizza instead of having the whole pizza. Maybe this is when you decide you want to have a Beyond Burger, or maybe someone wants to do something a little bit crazier than that I'm not going to say on this call. This is when you can get creative. But if you're also not craving, like I had this craziest thing happen to me. I was working with Marcia, and she had something, and it had Impossible meat or Beyond one. I can't remember which one it had, but I ate that because I like those faux meats. I ate it, and I'm like, I just wasn't loving it. And then on my birthday, my husband took me to one of my favorite vegan restaurants, and I had a Beyond Burger because I was craving a burger. So I had it, and it was not good. So literally, I haven't had another faux meat since then. That used to be my go-to thing. Like that would be my soul food. So now I've got to find a different soul food. I don't even know what it is right now. Maybe it's going to be a pizza. But
You
so,
guys,
go ahead, Marcia.
I was going to post a talk on Dr. McDougall posted about soy, because a lot of people want to know about all these soy faux meats on how bad they are. You guys, soybeans is the whole food, right? It's a bean, soybean. Tofu is it's a little more processed. I would say it's still a little more acceptable if you're going to eat that, versus something this process is Impossible or Beyond. It's way processed. You're eating that for fun. Yeah, it's ultra processed. You're not eating that for like nourishing and healing food. You're eating that for fun. So that's kind of in your fun food category, FYI. But I need to put this talk and share it into the Plant Chicks tribe on soy, because people have so many questions about soy, and he answers everything on soy. And you need to be careful of soy protein isolate. That is the worst soy you can have in your body, period. Soy protein isolate. It's a lot of faux meats. It's a lot of protein bars or protein powders that you guys think that you're trying to be quote unquote healthy. don't have that. You can have soybean, you can have tofu. Again, tofu's a little processed, it's not ultra processed. You could still have that if you're having a curry or some type of, like, I know they're in Asian and Indian dishes, those are fine and stuff like that. But you got to be careful of the type of soy you are eating, because people will think, I got to have this soy 3 amounts, 5 amounts, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they kind of go crazy when they go plant-based. You guys want to focus on whole foods, and soybeans are fine, as considered a whole food. Tofu, we still consider it processed. If you go to YouTube, look how tofu is made. Then you can make your decision on that, okay? Because a lot of people, somebody asked us the other day, I'm like, go YouTube, how is tofu made? And then you tell me if it's a nourishing, healing, whole food type of thing. So now some people do make their own tofu and ferment it and all that stuff. That's maybe a little bit different, but just to know that the soybean is the whole food version of it, and you're better off with that. If you're trying to go for health, if you're trying to go for fun, yeah, you can have your little tofu, soy, whatever it is, you know what I mean, for fun. So just know, Jackie and I always say this, 80 to 90% whole foods, 10 to 20% soul foods. Soul food is going to be junk. Just don't try to make it the majority of your diet, because that's where you get in trouble. So.
Can I ask about bread?
Yeah, go for it.
What about, is there any bread that you would say is okay to eat in small quantity, or that's kind of my weak spot, bread.
That is a hot topic. So Bridget, I'm so glad that you asked about bread. And bread is going to be another processed food. So if you're going to have a whole grain bread, that would be better than a white bread. And sourdough is actually one that has some there's some good qualities to sourdough bread. It's going to help diversify your gut microbiome. And that's a whole nother hour-long talk that we can do. We're not going to get into that tonight. But sourdough bread or a whole grain bread. So you want to make sure that in the ingredient list, it's going to be like a whole grain. It's not refined or, you just don't want to have a bunch of different ingredients that you don't know what they are. You don't understand what the word is, and those are not going to be good for you. So a whole grain, 100% whole grain, or a sourdough is okay. But again, this is not something that Marcy and I recommend having even on a daily basis, because it is more processed. And we do prefer to have mostly whole foods. So instead of having bread on the daily, you would have rice, potatoes, quinoa, oatmeal. And oatmeal, you guys, oatmeal is not just for breakfast. Think of that as a regular grain. Like you can have a savory oats for dinner. You can have oatmeal instead of rice for dinner or whatever. So you can have oatmeal throughout the day if your body tolerates it.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And JR had to bounce. All right. Does anyone else have any other questions or want to just say hi?
No. Okay, I think we're good. Ladies, thank you for joining us tonight on this call. We're going to have these every Monday for the next 4 weeks. While we go through the program. So just remember, Jackie said, plug in as much as you plug in. The much as you put in, that's what you're going to get out. If you don't put anything in it, obviously you're not going to get anything out of it. This includes the calls, the workouts, the nutrition, the mindset. Just do the best that you can for yourself, and whatever area of the program speaks to you intuitively that you feel like you need, that you're drawn to, then do it. Remember, you don't have to do all the things, just do something.
That's right. You guys have a great night. So Marcy and I like to close a certain way. We do rock out with your Brock out. So you guys have an amazing evening. We can't wait to see you in the tribe. Oh, I love it. You guys are
can't wait till you guys rock out with your Brock out. All right, ladies, have a great night. We'll see you in the tribe.